finally, this video is underway. Now, I gave a notification for this live stream. It was a very long notification. I think I made it over 10 hours ago, if I'm not mistaken. It was early this morning. I think around 6 or 7 o'clock. And I'm finally here. And this is actually sort of a video response. A video response to a bunch of replies that I got for this video right here. As you can see, the video has over 1,400 views. Sort of above average for my videos. And there's been a lot of comments. There's been more comments left on this video than what you see. So far, there's only 44 comments that are visible. So this video struck a nerve with a lot of people, specifically with a lot of people who have some strong opinions. And a lot of them, I did not publish their comments. But, after I would delete so many comments, I wouldn't allow so many comments on the channel, and I would just block this user, that user. At a certain point, it makes me look like I'm afraid to deal with what they're saying. And a lot of these are, they're trolls who will make a bunch of accounts and they will leave the same type of comment. But these people are coming out of everywhere. And a repeat comment are the comments who say, well, Chael Sonnen is not racist against Asians. It's really black people who are racist against Asians. Some of you remember I made a video where an Asian subscriber left a comment and I responded to that comment. An Asian subscriber left a comment and said that, hey, I've heard a lot of black people say racist things about Asians. As many of you know, the media has tried to whip up propaganda, has tried to project blacks as racist against Asians. They've actually paid. They had police officers paying black immigrants to walk up and shove Asians, and it's always on camera, trying to whip up this propaganda that blacks are racist against Asians. But these people who leave comments on my videos, particularly on this video, they are suggesting that I'm racist against Asians, or they will suggest that, hey, it's really black people who are racist against Asians. And if you're going to talk about racism against Asians, you need to talk about the black people and talk about how racist black people are against Asian people. That's the narrative. And, I want these people to know, look, I'm not afraid to talk about anything. I just, I don't like to divert from the subject matter of this channel. But I'm going to go ahead and deal with it on this video. I made this video. I was talking about the burning hatred and racism that a lot of white supremacists here in the United States have for China. And it's pretty deep. They have all types of slurs and slogans. Better dead than red is one of them. And that line, better dead than red, has been acknowledged or identified as a racist white supremacist slur by police officers. I shared the articles here online. You've had law enforcement officers say that better dead than red is a term that is popular among white supremacist organizations. Okay? WMMA Addict didn't say it. The police officer said it. So it's pretty deep. And I talked about how Rose basically sort of galvanized all the racists. You know, Florida being the racist capital of the United States. And it worked. Whaley and her team had to deal with racist slurs, according to them. Racist slurs, a bunch of booing, a bunch of mistreatment. And I believe it was also Whaley's manager who pointed out the racism that they dealt with in the arena. And a lot of people are saying, hey, well, black people are racist against Asians. Black people, black people, black people. And listen, I'm a black person. I'm a black American. 45 years old. And so, to a good extent, I can only speak from my experience. Growing up, I've never, ever heard any black people say racist things about Asians. I've never heard it. For the most part, black people don't even think about Asian people. And when they do, the only thing they're thinking about is food, Chinese food, kung fu movies, or going down to their beauty supply store. And it's, you know, I think it's ironic how Asians in America have basically created their business niche in black communities. Black communities here in the United States almost single-handedly provided a business market for Chinese, well, Asians in general, Chinese, Koreans, right? And that's an undeniable fact. But here's the thing. This is what I want all those people to know. Now, I don't know. I assume a lot of these are Asian people who are leaving these comments, you know, coming at me saying, hey, blacks are racist, blacks are racist, blacks are racist. Listen, I've never said anything racist. And that's an undeniable fact. I've always supported Asian fighters, whether it be Wei Li, Yan Xiaona. Matter of fact, before Yan and Wei Li came into the UFC, I warned everyone that there would be a problem in the UFC. I issued that warning, I believe, before either one of them made their debut. And it happened. They're both at the top of the division. And I really don't have to explain myself here. Those of you who follow the channel, you know this full well. But, you know, I feel like I need to respond to the Asians. I had another Asian person, I don't know if they were Chinese, Japanese, coming at me, say, hey, blacks are racist against Asians. Blacks are racist against Asians. You need to talk to these black people. Don't worry about Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen is not racist. I don't see him as racist. It's the black people who are racist. Right? Now, I might have to limit the discussions here, right? Oh yeah, Chael is out of his mind. And everybody know Chael's a bigot. Everybody know Chael's a bigot. He said the most racist things. I mean, just Google Chael racist. There have been several articles written about him. Right? But here's the thing. You don't hear me complaining about racism against black people by racist Asians. And I have plenty of room to talk about it. Not once have I responded to these people who left comments. Not once have I responded and referred to the racism that has been shown towards black people in China, Japan, from Filipinos, etc., etc. I've never even referenced to it. But I'm a reference to it now. Because this needs to be kept close in mind when you want to come at me and sort of try to chastise me about black racism towards Asian people. How many of you seen this video? Black athletes are greeted in China. Okay? Black athletes are greeted in China. Check this out. Now, some of you may say, well, you know, it was just 2 or 3 or maybe 4 people. But I didn't see anybody rebuke these individuals. I didn't see anybody turn around and say, hey, y'all cut that out. You know, y'all cut that out. Now, this is what I want to point out. Now, first of all, let me be clear. This doesn't bother me. I do not seek approval from anybody. I do not care if people from other races don't like black people. I truly, honestly don't care at all. So I want to make that clear. I'm not this sensitive black person. Oh, he called me the N-word. My feelings are so hurt. Oh, I'm so distraught. You know, the media likes to project all black people as if they have an emotional breakdown when they hear the N-word. This video was actually funny to me, the way that they are saying it. I mean, it sounds so corny. Get out of China. But this is what I want to point out. This is what I want to highlight. Black people could not get away with that. If there was a crowd of black people and a bus full of Asian athletes arrived, you could not have 3 or 4 black people in that crowd yelling chink. All the black people, you know I'm telling the truth. You could not have a handful of black people yelling and calling those Asians chinks. if they tried, they would get corrected by black people. They would have to deal with a whole bunch of black people confronting them. Like, man, what is your problem? This is fact. They wouldn't be able to get away with it. But here, nobody confronted these individuals. My point here is, trust me, the racism does not, there's no comparison. The racism against blacks among Asians is far stronger than the racism among blacks against Asians. Now, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people, you're not that bright, got a low IQ, and you automatically assume that I'm calling all Asians racist. I've met several very cool Asian people. As a matter of fact, I've personally known quite a few Chinese people who have never been out of China. They've never left China. And many of them truly admire black Americans. Do y'all know over there in China, they have these small groups of like Chinese people who break dance, and they still dance the way we used to dance in the early 80s. Dead serious. They have like this hip hop sector in China. I'm never talking about the entire population, but in general, overall, as in the black community here in the United States, you cannot get away with being a flat out racist against Asians or anybody. You're going to deal with a whole bunch of black people who are going to confront you. Even if there's no white or Asian people around, even if they're only around other black people are going to confront them about it. And they're going to, they're going to rebuke them. Some of the things you see over there, you just don't see and you can't see in the United States among black Americans. I can only speak for black Americans. I can only speak for my group. Let me show you something else. How many of you remember this? When the COVID pandemic broke, right? Africans were getting kicked out, forced to live on the street and sleep on the street. How many of y'all remember that? You don't hear about black Americans targeting Asians here in the United States like that. It just doesn't happen. How many of you remember the Japanese prime minister who came out and said the United States intelligence level is low because of blacks, Hispanics, and Puerto Ricans? Right? As if to suggest that all white people have a high IQ. How many of you are aware of what I have in the thumbnail? China had to pull this down. They had a number of racist little murals in this museum over there. How many of you are aware of blackface over there in China and Japan? How many of y'all aware of this stuff? I mean, just flat out blackface. They'll dress up, they'll put a little afro, paint themselves black, and then they'll start to act real buffoonish, trying to imitate buffoonish black people. You know, a lot of people not even wear this stuff. Now, let me just say this. Black people don't do this. We don't dress up as Asian. We don't paint our skin yellow, put on a straight hair wig, and pretend to be Chinese. We just don't do it. It does nothing for us. And I've always been fascinated at stuff like this, like blackface here in the United States. They have it everywhere, down in Mexico, different parts of Asia. It's like these people are just fascinated by black people, to the point where they want to dress up like black people and behave like black people. I've always thought it was weird. Again, this kind of stuff does not infuriate me, because I don't have an inferiority complex, and I don't seek the approval of other people. I look at the history of sit-ins and integration. That's embarrassing to me. There's no way that I would try to force my presence onto a bunch of white people who made it clear that they didn't want me around. And trust me, there were a lot of black people like me back during the civil rights movement, but they did not get any media attention. As always, they would only give media attention to the most embarrassing black people they could find. That's what they do. When anything happens, they'll take their cameras and they'll go out there and they'll look for the most disgraceful and embarrassing black people they can find and put the microphone in their face. There were black people like me around back then. There was a huge group of black people who were dead set against sit-ins, trying to force your presence on the people. You know, if there's a group of people across the street and they all hate my guts and they don't want me to be around them, guess what? I don't want to be around them. I'm not going to try to force my presence onto them. I don't want to be around. I'm going to look at those people as beneath me. So I just want to make clear, this does not bother me. To witness racism from any other group of people does not bother me, not one bit. How many people remember the 2008 Olympics? Many bans and restrictions. Beijing, 2008. Bars were forbidden to serve blacks and Mongolians. This was by orders by the government. Do not serve black people. Many bans and restrictions with serious inconveniences for the population. I mean, it's deep. And I'm only hitting the tip of the iceberg. There's a pretty long history. This is a Filipino. What's that Filipino racial slur for black people? I can't even remember it now. There is a Filipino racial slur for black people. What is it? What is it? I can't remember. I don't remember what it is. There's an Asian in the chat room now. He said, bro, you talking about China and Japan, who has no experience of racism. What do you mean no experience of racism? Let me share this video with y'all. I want y'all to see this video. And you can find it on YouTube. Matter of fact, I'll share a link to the video, because I think I know what this individual is trying to say. Well, there's not that many blacks over there, so they're not sensitive. They're not aware of the sensitivities and all that type of nonsense. Okay? Let me switch my screen. I just watched this a few minutes ago. Check this out.
Now at 11, a racist rant at a high school basketball game in Orange County now has students and parents demanding action. The verbal assault caught on video now even has a city council getting involved. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter live for us now in Irvine with the video and what people are saying about it tonight. Leanne.
Mark, the student and his parents say they want to see change. An entire community outraged by what was caught on camera. We have to warn you, you may find the language offensive. A racist rant caught on camera at a Laguna Hills high school basketball game. The student targeting opponent Makai Brown as he's shooting free throws.
I'm angry. I'm hurt.
See, this is what they do. They put the camera on black people like this. Oh, I'm hurt. I'm angry. I'm hurt. My heart's broken. Shut the hell up. They always want to put the microphone in the face of an old weak black person. They don't put the microphone in front of people like me. I would have been like, I don't give a damn. Who are they? I don't care what they think or what they say or what they think about black people. Go shove your microphone into somebody else's face. Oh, I'm hurt. They're always trying to project black people as if our view of ourselves is based on how other people view us. They always want to project us as being so concerned about the approval of other people. I don't give a damn about nobody's approval. And I want all of you to know that. I don't care how many of you are racist or how racist you are. Now, this is what I actually wanted to show you. Check this out.
Officials in Beijing are distancing the government from a commercial that's been widely condemned as racist. The ad for laundry detergent shows an African man's black color being washed off. China's foreign ministry says the commercial has not affected relations with African governments. CCTV's Rowie Rettenberg reports.
At first, it looks like a harmless flirtation. A Chinese woman washing her clothes, luring in an African worker who's been painting her home. But instead of a kiss, he's given a tablet, laundry detergent, then dunked into a washing machine. Moments later, he emerges Asian. The suggestion, his color has been washed clean.
How many people remember this? This was a commercial. You see, listen, black people don't do little sick, twisted stuff like this. This is that, this level of racism is the exact same type of racism you saw in the United States coming from white America. The racist white America. Let's be clear. There's never been a point in time where all whites in this country were racist. The problem has always been that the whites who are not racist felt too afraid to stand out because they would get dealt with just like blacks would get dealt with. How many people remember this? Now, let's continue.
On Monday, Chinese officials tried to distance the government from the controversy and from the potential fallout.
We have maintained incredibly friendly relations with all peoples of different nationalities and different races in this world, as well as all of their countries. We share mutual respect and equal treatment with them. As far as I know, this is an isolated, uncompromising act by a commercial company.
She says no government has yet lodged a complaint and hailed...
What in the world? Like, who sits around and thinks of a little weird, disgraceful, disrespectful commercial like this? A black painter, a guy painting her house, flirting with her. She gives him a tablet, throws him in a washing machine, washes his color away and he comes out Asian. As far as I'm aware, I can only speak for black Americans. We don't sit around thinking of no disgusting, weird. It's weird more than anything. A little disrespectful, racist stuff like this. Please don't try to come at me and try to suggest that black people are so racist. And to be honest with you, several of these black people who have a grudge against Asians is because they discovered stuff like this. You just don't see that in the black pop, not here in the United States. I can only speak for black Americans. Let's get something straight. All blacks are not the same. We are different, and you all know it.
China's, quote, brotherly relations with African countries. In a statement issued over the weekend, Shanghai Leixing Cosmetics expressed, quote, regret that the ad caused controversy, adding, we will not shun responsibility for controversial content. We express our apology for the harm caused to the African people because of the spread of the ad.
Wait a minute. No need to apologize, because it has not caused any harm. And any black person who feel harmed, distraught, or whatever, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you for placing so much value in how other people see you.
But some foreigners living in Beijing think it's not enough.
They should apologize much more strongly than that, I think.
No. I don't want no apology. Okay? I don't want an apology. Why would I want an apology from someone who's revealed their true colors? Who's been honest and told me exactly what they think about me? What is an apology supposed to do for me? No. You know, a lot of people think blacks are all so sensitive. A lot of that is a bunch of media propaganda. You got hardened hearts among the black population, like myself, who literally, genuinely don't give a damn. So, no thanks. You can keep your apology.
And I think that it's classic of the attitude to race in China today, that no one saw that as a problem before, and they're still not really giving out a full-on apology. I think that's pretty typical.
I think it might be because that we don't have much history of black people fighting against discrimination here in China, and that's why many people here are lack of the awareness of how sensitive this topic is.
Lack of awareness of how sensitive this topic is, because we don't have a history of black or racism against blacks, because there's not that many blacks. Wait a minute. Why would it require that you are surrounded by black people? Why is that necessary for you to not do little sick, weird, twisted stuff like this? We as black people, we don't have to be around Asians to know that it would be offensive to make mockery of what they are by trying to paint ourselves yellow and, be real buffoonish. Why do you need to be surrounded by black people to be aware of what's disrespectful and what isn't? That is the problem right there. And that lets me know you are really twisted and screwed up in the head. 100%. And again, let me be clear. I'm never talking about an entire population of people. Now, you may have some blacks who are what we would consider racist, but they keep it to themselves. They're not going to come out, and much of it is reactionary. There is this type of racism all around the world that is directed towards blacks that you don't see coming from blacks directed towards others. And I really can't explain it. I really can't explain it. Right? You say, and Whaley is a Chinese who doesn't speak racism. Rose points. Yeah. So, you know, the people who leave in these comments, look, if you're bothered by something that some black person said somewhere, take it up with that person. Take it up with them as individuals. If we want to correct China for their racism, we got to talk to an entire government. We got to go to government officials. We got to go to entire production studios. You don't hear me complaining. You don't hear me saying, oh, screw that Chinese fighter, screw that Asian fighter. I operate on this channel, all my channels, I operate based on people's character, 100%. And everybody who follows me, they know this. Right? Now I want to finish this because I didn't finish it the first time I watched it.
But of course, it doesn't mean that Chinese people are against the idea that everyone is equal and should be respected.
Because China uses Chinese media platforms like Youku, which are rarely visited by foreigners, the ad went virtually unknown for months. It wasn't until it was uploaded to YouTube and other platforms where millions saw it in recent days.
Man, that's so twisted. Like, a whole group of people had to sit around and think of something, a commercial like this. I mean, it's not even funny. Forget about it being offensive. You give a black guy flirting with you a tablet and dump him in a washer, he washes skin away, he comes out Chinese? What? I mean, it's not even funny. Was it in, I don't know if it was intended to be funny or what. I don't know. Maybe it was an advertisement for the laundry detergent. I don't know. It's just weird. More than anything, it strikes me as weird. But most definitely disrespectful. As if our color is actually dirt. I've actually heard that several times. That we're dirty. In our black skin, we need to wash it because it's actually dirt. Crazy stuff. To be honest, I really don't understand the mentality of a true bona fide racist. And you have to distinguish the racists from the non-racists. You got to always make a distinction between, because like I pointed out several times, all throughout history, there has been, and a lot of people don't like to point this out, there's been many white people who've been killed. Killed. Because they were fighting against racists. And that's a big reason why whites who are not racist tend to keep silent, because they know they'll become a target. Several whites were lynched, called nigger lovers, or, you know, the N-word lovers. I don't like to drop that bomb because here you can get censored on YouTube. But, yeah, I'm never, ever talking about an entire race of people. You can't do that. I mean, and more than anything, you lose credibility, intellectual credibility.
Millions saw it in recent days that the controversy exploded. The official version released by the cosmetics company has since been removed, but copies continue circulating online of what some have called, quote, the most racist ad in the world. Rowie Rettenberg, CCTV in Washington.
Well, this ad has generated a lot of reaction worldwide, including in China. CCTV's World Insight featured a panel to discuss the ad.
the ad was basically playing on a stereotype that black people around the world have been fighting hundreds of years to combat against, and it's disappointing coming from a place like China when China has tried to project itself.
No, it's not disappointing, man. Stop with that. Black people, I need black people to stop caring. You should not care about how a racist views you. Now, if they actually do something that causes you harm or sort of makes your experience in the world less comfortable, if they impair the quality of your existence, then obviously, of course, then it's a problem. But if you're just dealing with somebody's opinion and their view of you, and it does not, actually impair your quality of life, why would you care? This is obviously a group of people whose train of thought is far beneath yours. You should not care what gutter thinkers think. Their entire frame of thought is subhuman. You should view yourself as far above it, and it should not impact. You cannot go around having your emotions hurt and being, emotionally troubled by what some gutter thinking person thinks. And I don't like this. The media does this a lot. Always projecting black people as hurt. Oh, it's so disappointing. Oh, I've seen them get black people up here crying because they was called the N-word. Oh, it hurts so much. And they always looking for those type of black people who get emotionally distraught and start crying. Oh, Martin Luther King did not preach this. He told us to love each other. Lord, oh Lord. So I just wanted to clear the air on that. I don't want to hear nothing else about how racist black people are towards Asians. Again, based on my personal experience, I can't even speak from personal experience. I've never shared a conversation with black people like that. But if you really want to have the discussion, then I have to play catch up. Because I have to go all throughout history and complain about the racist things that have been said and done to black people by this group, by that group, but I don't. I don't and I won't, because I don't care. The only thing I care about is my own view. And the only people I care about is the people who see eye to eye with me. And if you see things the way I see things, I don't care what race you are. I don't care. And much of what I believe, much of my beliefs, a lot of black people are going to see eye to eye with me. Just by default, they're going to see eye to eye. And really anybody with common sense is going to see eye to eye with me. Because what I believe and what I think actually applies to everybody. Everybody can relate. If you're a white person and there is a group of black people down on the corner and they have held up signs saying no whites allowed, or they have a business, no whites allowed, no whites allowed, why would you want to go over there? Is that a place that you really want to be? Now, I don't want to hear, but the opportunities. No. Black people had restaurants. We had our own schools. We had our own everything. If you want to be surrounded by a bunch of people who hate your guts and don't want you around, I'm going to also then question your mentality. Why do you want to force your presence onto these people? You see what I'm saying? I feel like my view on racism, even people of other races can relate to it. And if you're a white person, if you're an Asian person, and there's a school full of black people, and they say no Asians allowed, no whites allowed, would you care what those people thought about you? Would it hurt your feelings or anything like that? No. Unfortunately, you would have to look down on them intellectually. You would have to. So don't get your panties in a bunch. I still believe Chael Sonnen is a bigot. And many of the things he said and the way he's handled stories about Wei Li is highly disrespectful. I feel like he displayed overt disrespect towards Wei Li, especially after her rematch against Joanna. Several of the things that Rose said and did with Wei Li, highly disrespectful and racist. And I can say that without having to worry about anybody viewing me as a racist. You know, I treat people the way I expect to be treated. And if you can't reciprocate the way I deal with you, y'all see how I'm very polite on my channels. This channel, I've been known to say, hey, those are my thoughts. What do you think? In other words, that has always been my way of saying, hey, this is my thoughts. And I don't care if you disagree. If you disagree, fine. Just go ahead and lay it out. Just tell us what you think. I never try to force people to agree with me or anything like that. I stand up for what's right. That is what I have a passion for, being fair. I don't care what race you are. If you're a good fighter, I'm a fan. If you're a good fighter, I am a fan. The only thing that would turn me off is if you brought racism into the sport. I don't appreciate that. I don't want to hear a bunch of boos coming from a bunch of sick racists just because Wei Li is Chinese and they completely dismiss how spectacular of a fighter she is. That is when your experience is being impaired by these sickos, and that's when it's a problem. And I don't want to see that brought into the sport. I've had several channels. I have several channels where I just stand up for what's right. If you stand up for what's right, you don't have nothing to worry about. You're going to automatically stand up for your own group when you stand up for what's right. Right? So don't get your panties in a bunch. All of the Asians out there, do not buy into this propaganda that black Americans are huddled in groups. Look, if there truly were a significant portion of black Americans who were racist, trust me, your businesses would not exist in black communities. They would destroy them. They would burn those businesses down. Black communities all across the country have welcomed other people's businesses with open arms. Trust me, if there were a significant portion of black people who hated and were racist against Asians, your businesses would not thrive in black communities. They thrive because black people who are not racist dominate black communities. They dominate. And the blacks who are racist, who may be racist, they're scared to make themselves known because they know that the first people who are going to jump all over their case is going to be other black people. Right? So I just wanted to clear the air on that. Shout out to everybody who's able to join. I know there may have been some trolls in the chat room. I can't pay attention to the trolls in the chat room. What I do is that I'll come back and I'll watch the chat room later, a few hours or a few days later. And if I find the trolls, then I'll ban them from the channel. I know a lot of people want. I'm not one of those hosts who always keeping up with the chat room. It takes a lot of work. Plus, generally I'm focused on something else. Did I used to be FOI? No, I never been a fruit of Islam, but I had 2 uncles who were members of the Nation of Islam. 2 uncles who were members of the Nation of Islam, and my mother was a member of the Black Panther Party. But the Black Panther Party was pretty much a multiracial thing. They had the Rainbow Coalition. They used to work with whites and people of other races all the time. It was sort of like a multiracial thing. But no, never been a member of the FOI. Right? So I don't put up with racism of any kind here. I've had to ban several people who've left racist remarks towards all groups. I've seen people leave racist remarks towards Asians, towards whites, towards blacks. Telling you now, if I find it, I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to remove you from the channel. Right? Simple as that. Okay, we have an Asian in the chat room who said, Asian culture is very open and it comes out to be rude in America, but in Asia, it's normal. Okay. Okay. So, giving a black man a laundry detergent pill, dumping him in a washing machine, and he comes out Asian or white, that's not really racist? Is that what you're saying? That's actually just a funny thing? Is that what you call, oh, they're just being open? Answer the question, Asian connection. You say I got Asian culture mixed up for racist? How? Explain. That commercial that I just played, is that not a racist commercial? Is it actually just open culture? Is that what you're saying? Speak your mind. I don't want to hear you explain this. And how about that thing I just showed? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? That's not it. Let me go to my history. Let me go to my history here. Where is that? Yeah, I just had it. Here it is. Okay, Asian connection in the chat room. Is this what you're calling open and it's getting mixed up for racism? So you're saying I'm getting this confused, right? Check out the Asian guy in the chat room. The Asian guy in the chat room, he's saying that this is not really racist. That this is just Asian people being open and it's getting mixed up for racism. Okay, maybe I'm confused and I don't know racism when I hear it. Is that it? We've all been duped. This is not racism, okay? This is just openness. I mean, there are a bunch of people out here. Why doesn't anybody turn towards these people, confront these people? Huh? You mean nobody's disgusted by this? So this is just a bunch of Asian people being open? Is that what you're saying? Listen to this guy. He said, "We Asian, we know nothing about blackface. You think we follow the American culture." What? Dude, I've seen the blackface over there in Asia. They put on the afro, they paint themselves black, and they try to behave like black people. They try to literally act like black people, just like they used to do here in the United States. What are you talking about? Am I misunderstanding this guy? Check out this Asian connection in the chat room. He's saying that this is just, he's saying this is not racism and these are not racist. That I'm confused. This is just openness that we're getting confused with racism. Okay. All right. So people, that's not really racism. And if you believe that's racist, you're confused. That's just openness. They're just being open and you're getting it confused for racism. All right. So I don't really need to explain to any of you that this is the last time you will see Asian Connection on this channel. Boy, oh boy, there are a lot of sick people in the world, man. It's pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy. But look, I'm hungry. I'm hungry, and I'm about to log off here and have me a nice meal. I hope you all stay safe and stay positive. Negative energy hurts the heart. It hurts the heart. And to stay positive is very heart healthy. Man.